What's up, everybody? Derek here with the Bass Factory, and today I'm going to be going over my top 5 plastics that I like to put on my weighted Texas rigs. Alright, this is your basic Texas rig setup. You've got, on average, this is what I use, a 4/0 wide gap hook and a 3/8 ounce bullet sinker. And you can either peg it to where a lot of people put a toothpick or something else, a bobber stopper in there to where it's not going to come up. It's just going to stick, basically like that. And a lot of people will punch with it. Or you can just let it free move just like that to where it's running off the bottom, and it works very well. Kind of similar to a Carolina rig in a way, but one of my first baits that not a lot of people think of whenever they think of a Texas rig is a Swimbait. I believe this is a 4-inch Swimbait. This is a Reaction Innovation skinny dipper, and I have had so much luck from the beginnings. This is the first Swimbait that I ever used. Somebody showed me how to use this at a tournament one time, and I was thinking, and he was using it on the Texas rig. And the cool thing about it, when he was using it, before I picked up on it, he was tossing out this Swimbait and he was bringing it back and stuff just like what's behind me, and grass and other stuff. And he was catching fish, running it off the tops of that grass, and then he'd pull off the Swimbait. Instead of switching rods, he would put on a creature bait or a worm or anything and work it off the bottom. And he was just going back and forth with the same rod, using a slow technique and then a fast technique. And it was kind of cool because he was using the same rod with the same setup and not changing anything but the plastic. So a Swimbait, surprisingly, will catch you a lot of fish. You don't need those Swimbait hooks a lot of the time. So you should definitely give that a try because it is really, really good, and it's really weedless in grass. All right, my number 2 weighted plastic has been used by a lot of people over the years, and these have been around forever. You may call them a Cinco, but I call this one a Yumdinger. And only because I like using the Yumdinger is because of the price. Cincos can get so outrageously expensive. And you can buy at least 3 packs of these Yumdingers almost for the price of 1 pack of Cincos. So these things will last, and they work very well, and I've had no trouble catching with these. But the cool thing about them is whenever you're using them on a Texas rig, they don't have a lot of action themselves. They don't have a lot of appendages or anything coming off of them. They've just got that basic action. And if you've ever used one of these and worked it basically wacky rig, you know what kind of fish they can bring in just by that fluttering action. But with the Texas rig, these have been proven very effective, especially when you're trying for a little bit more subtle action or something that's not moving as much in the water column for those fish. So you should definitely try one of these stick baits. All right, my number 3 has proven effective on everything. This is a baby brush hog, but a baby brush hog or just a regular size brush hog. The bigger brush hogs, a lot of the time on lakes, on points during the summer and other stuff, will catch you a lot of fish. But on the creek and the river, these will catch you so many fish, and they're so easy with the Texas rig. And the cool thing with these is you can downsize the size. I showed you a bullet weight earlier. You can downsize from a 3/8 what I showed you and go to a smaller size, and you can catch all kinds of fish. I've even caught rock bass and all kinds of other sunfish on these, but you should definitely give a brush hog a shot because these things will catch you fish and they will surprise you. And for the spawn, I know a lot of guys like to use these on beds, so definitely give these a try. All right, my number 4 plastic is a lizard. These things have proven so effective for me, and I have gone to these specifically whenever I'm bed fishing. This is my go-to bed fishing lure. I don't use this color. I'll use white, and I'll throw it down there on the bed, and I can see it the whole time. I caught my biggest fish to date on one of these in about 8 foot of water, and it was a white one, and I could see everything that was going on down there. But of course it was clear water, so I was able to see it really well. But once that white disappeared, I set the hook and it was on. But these plastics around points, stumps, brush piles, lay downs, anything, these things work awesome year round. And lizard is a really, really good plastic that you need to go to, because especially whenever you're fishing beds, if that head is down, you don't want to be picking up your bait a lot. So you just want the minimal movement of that bullet weight down there sitting in the bed. So just the little bitty vibrations or movements can flutter that tail just enough to get the attention of that bass. And once you hit that sweet spot on that bed, those fish really get excited and they get really pissed off and they'll come and hit this thing. But I haven't had much trouble with them just eating the tail. They will just suck it up. So definitely give one of these lizards a try whenever you go fishing with your Texas rig. My number 5 plastic is a creature bait. Not particularly in this size, but for this size on this creek that's behind me would be perfect. But a creek or a river, if you've got smaller crawfish in there, perfect size for it. But I mainly use one style of fishing whenever I'm using one of these creature baits, and that is mainly pitching and flipping. I may have visible structure like brush piles or treetops or docks or anything like that, and I'm pitching and flipping over to it, letting the bait fall, and then picking up once or twice and then pulling right back in. I'm not usually making big long casts, but you can work these just like a jig or use them as a trailer on a jig. But for weighted plastic on a Texas rig, you cannot go wrong with this thing, and you should definitely give a creature bait a try. And if you're basically punching mats, punching right through there and having that weight pegged right above it, basically looks like a jig, but it becomes very weedless and is very effective whenever you're punching mats. Like these thick mats that are right behind me back here would be perfect if you're going up and down this creek. But you should give all 5 of these plastics a try because they are awesome. I've had so much luck with all 5 of these, and that's why they're my 5 favorite plastics to be using on any body of water at any time. So let me know what you guys use for your 5 top plastics on your Texas weighted rigs. So subscribe if you haven't already, like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.